integrity. That's a very important word. Even when no one is watching, you still do what is right. And it makes me think of this one Bible verse in the book of Luke, in the New Testament, the Gospel of Luke, chapter 16 and verse 10. This is the words of Jesus here. It says, "He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much, and he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much." So basically, if you're faithful in the little things, you will be faithful in the big things. And if you're not trustworthy, so to say, in the little things, well then you're most likely not going to be trustworthy in the big things. That's why even being trustworthy in little things is very, very important for everyone, for you, for me, for everyone. It doesn't matter. And one example I was given probably a couple of weeks ago at church, this man gave the example of in a quiet little country town, maybe one set of traffic lights in the whole town. Now whether it be a town with only one set of traffic lights, or a city what's full of traffic lights, maybe it's very early in the morning, or maybe it's late at night. But this is the example he gave. Just say he came to the traffic lights as a pedestrian and wanted to cross the road, and the light is red saying don't cross, and he looks around on both sides, no one is coming, not a car in sight, and he crosses the road. Now that might be just a little thing, and might not mean very much to you, you know. He could have crossed the road, and by the time he got to the other side, there's probably still not a car in sight. Yet maybe just somebody is watching, perhaps a little kid might have wandered from their parents at night, or any kind of scenario, that doesn't really matter. But just say a little child saw this man cross the road with a red light when he wasn't supposed to cross the road. Now, what would happen if this little child went and crossed the road too when the light was red, and he gets hit by a car? You know, the child was just being innocent. He saw the man cross the road with a red light, and he thought, well, it must be right for him too. So integrity is very important, because if we do the wrong thing, even in little things, someone might be watching, and someone might get the wrong idea and think it's alright for them to do the wrong thing as well, and they might get hurt over it. Maybe they won't, but there's a good chance also that some kind of harm would come through it, even if the little kid crossed the road and did not get hit by a car or whatever. Maybe someone else might think, oh, they've got to cross the road too, and perhaps not even look, because his other two crossed the road, and I think, well, if those two cross the road with no problem at all, and the light is red saying don't cross, maybe they might just blindly cross the road and get hit. and it could simply be a chain reaction. And so doing what's right, even if you think there's no one looking, it's still always good to do the right thing. And even if no one is looking, God is always watching. He's watching your every move, whether you do right or wrong. And Jesus says in John chapter 14 and verse 15, if you love me, keep my commandments. And that's the 10 commandments in Exodus chapter 20. But we do have the laws of the land. Well, a lot of them are actually based on the 10 commandments, but some of them, even if they're not, they're just based on common sense and for your own safety and for the safety of others. So, if you do something what you shouldn't, you might be okay, but you might put others in the risk of danger, and I'm sure you don't want that. And so God expects us to obey Him, but also the laws of the land, as long as it doesn't contravene God's laws, the 10 commandments. So integrity is something very important, whether in the Christian life or the non-Christian life. So God's 10 commandments are there, and also the laws of the land are important as well, for your safety, for my safety, for everyone's safety. So it might just be a little law, whether it be crossing the road when there's no one around and there's a red light, wait for the green light to come, because others might be watching. And there's probably 100 other examples I can give you. That's just one example. And so do the right thing. It's not hard to do, and you will be greatly benefited by it yourself, and so will others. And I'll read the verse again, just to let it sink in. Luke chapter 16 and verse 10. He that is faithful in that which is least is faithful also in much, and he that is unjust in the least is unjust also in much. And also, well, I'll just quickly add what this verse is also saying, that just say in the workplace, if your boss can trust you in something very small and might be insignificant, he knows that if he can trust you in something small, he knows that he or she can trust you in the bigger stuff as well. So remember this verse, Luke chapter 16 and verse 10. Just a very short verse, but a lot of meaning to it, and it will do you very well to take heed of it.